Should be good to go. Got that, got that, got that. Just getting everything set up. There we go. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. It's been a little bit since I've done a solo Ashes stream. Good to see you. We got some things to talk about. What's going on, dude? How are you? I haven't talked to you in ages, man. I'm just playing. How are things? Right. I think we're almost set up here. More like Ashes of Citizen 2.0. Yep. This is Star Citizen. Gooback, what's up? Can't complain. That's good. That's good. So I will let you guys know off the bat. I just updated the thumbnail for YouTube for those of you guys that are watching over there. Asmongold reacted to one of Narc's videos, and there was a big discussion on Discord. And I'll be honest, guys, I have not watched either video. I have not seen either one yet. I just saw a bunch of people talking about it. And I decided that it might be a good time to, you know, watch it and react to it and provide my feedback. I don't know what's said. I don't know what's said. Narc reacted to one of my videos. I want to say like, oh, 1 second. Narc reacted to one of my videos like 2 weeks ago. So I feel like this is fair. It's all in good taste and good form and everything. So hopefully he doesn't get mad about this, but I'm going to be fair. I'm just going to provide my feedback on what both of them say. Asmongold is a huge content creator, and it would be nice to get the voice of somebody from outside of the Ashes of Creation echo chambers. So that's why we're doing this. And then after that, after we go through that video and talk about it as a community and kind of provide our input, I figure it'd be fun to kind of go through like my expectations and your guys' expectations for the Fighter Showcase tomorrow. The Fighter Showcase is one of the live streams I'm most excited about. I'm excited for every live stream, but this is one of the like my top 3 that I'm most looking forward to. Big Hunky, excited to hear your takes on the DOOMIUM. Yeah, I'm interested to see what's said. I know Narc is very informed. I know he watches a lot of stuff, so it'll be interesting to see where he's coming from on this. Wild how quick the tide changes. Yes. Blap, what's up, dude? We are doomed. Yeah. So we're just gonna give it a couple minutes. How is everybody? How are you guys doing? I just cracked a beer. I don't know if you guys heard that. So we're doing a laid back stream. We're just gonna talk about some things. All opinions are welcome, and as long as we keep everything civil, just like always. Everything is more than fine to talk about as it pertains to the game. Modelo time? Yes, let's go. I will start my theory crafting cleric fighter potential. I need archetypes more than the singular ones. Pockets, what's going on, dude? Good to see you. Yes. Fighter is one of the main archetypes I'm looking forward to. Minor, fighter, rogue, and bard. And so we got one of my three. Stuck in traffic. Well, that's perfect time to have a beer, right? I'm just playing. Don't do that. Recovering from being sick, so I got hot tea. That sucks, man. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Let's switch over here. Jamie, what's up? All right, let's see what we got. Good to see you, man. For those of you guys that don't know, Jamie Chaos also has a live stream. I'm sure most of you guys know who Jamie is. So Let's make some adjustments here. Let's go big. Oh, we got a tear face for the thumbnail. Excellent. I'd called in sick the last 2 days and we have Good Friday off tomorrow, so super long weekend. Perfect time to recover. Perfect time to just relax and just realize this game's never coming out, right? That's a joke, guys. Only 20k more channel points to redeem Run My Build, no veto, and force you on ESO. Oh, shit. Yep, you're getting there, dude. Never heard of that bum? Yeah. Jamie is a very fun watch. Him and is it? I'm pretty sure it's your wife, Jamie. Is it? I'm pretty sure Annie's your wife, maybe your girlfriend. I don't want to get them mixed up, so I just want to make sure. But yes, his live stream is very good. I've only seen half Asmon's react. Annie, good to see you. 10 years married. Wow, congratulations. I thought so, but I just wanted to make sure. You don't want to be creating drama if you don't have to. We're already having drama for the live stream, so coming to Jamie Chaos's stream the 30th and vote for the art contest. Oh, is there an art contest? Together almost 14 years. That's awesome. That's great, guys. That's really great. My wife and I will be 15 years this year. Holy shit. Holy shit. Burns. Oh my God, everybody's here. Okay. Well, I hope I don't mess this up, guys. I'm sorry. If I mess this up, you guys can yell at me and hit me, but you're at 14 with yours? Congratulations. That is great to hear. Jamie, time for us to come clean. Oh no. Those podcast romances, man, they just sometimes they just go a little too far. I know you guys had Burns on a few months ago and things must have just escalated since then. That's crazy. I get it though. Careerian, what's going on? Okay, so we'll do another brief intro, but long story short, I was in the Ashes of Creation Discord today, and somebody said that Steven had commented, and like every other Ashes of Creation addict, I went on there to see what he talked about, and they were talking about this specific video, and so it had to have been good or bad to a point to where Steven felt the need to respond, and so I figured it'd be good to watch. As we know, Asmongold is one of the biggest content creators in the MMORPG space as a whole, and so it'd be good to get his feedback as well and kind of respond to what he thinks. And so we're going to have a reactception. We are watching Asmongold react to Narc. I thought about doing just Narc's video, but I think having both of their opinions on the same video makes for a more interesting discussion. And maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. We've been playing Doctor. Jesus. Okay, so hopefully everybody's here. Let's get started.
Faith and ashes of...
Oh, I need to change my... Okay. One second. I have to change my volume source. My headphones didn't go on. That's why. Okay. I was like, where are my headphones at? There we go.
Creation? We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, so there we go. Did Steven respond to Asmon or just Narc? He just responded in the Discord. Narc the only full-time AOC creator? I think so. I'm definitely not. But yeah, let's get started. Good to see you, everybody. Good to see you. I'm reacting to Else, reacting to Asmon, reacting to Narc. Okay, I'm gonna make this as spicy as possible for you, Nice.
People are losing faith in Ashes of Creation. We'll see. We'll see.
There's a concern.
We'll flip this up here. There we go.
Floating around the Ashes of Creation community right now, and by Ashes of Creation community, I mean the demons inside my head, because they're worried about the current state of Ashes of Creation's latest showcases. But before we get into that, our beautiful patrons and coped out.
Why has he got the angry
Twitch
face?
subs and I would love for you to
Jesus. That's a lot
grab
of people.
yourself Cola, because although what we've seen over the last few months have been really great progress, the game itself seems to be in a pretty interesting state. Only humans and Vex have been present for over a year now. The Phoenix initiatives finally getting into the game ended up showing us some questionable model quality, but the most important observation is that only one type
Video's a little
of
quiet.
mode has ever been present, and this
Okay.
certainly raises.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, hopefully that's loud enough here.
Some interesting questions when we're only about 6 months away from the Alpha 2 release.
This is my opinion. If it's fucked when it comes out, okay. I
There we
have
go.
like
Sorry about that,
so
guys.
many other games that I'm playing that if this one's bad, who cares? I'll just wait until it's good. And if it's never good, you know, you can't win them all, right? Yeah, I'm not emotionally invested in this. Well, in a way I am. I really hope it's good. I really, really do. It's not that big of a deal.
Is the Alpha
People put way
All right,
too
perfect.
much stock in games. Chill the fuck out, man. Just fucking relax. It's just a game.
too much?
Okay, I'm finding okay. I already agree with Asmongold. Like, holy shit. Yeah, so I told Nice about this. I was doing a video off of the drama that happened a few weeks ago in the same vein, and it's just like, I'm excited about Ashes. I really sincerely am. Like, I'd rather cover Ashes preview and talk about what Ashes could be than cover any other MMORPG in the space right now. It's just way more exciting. It's way more fun for me to cover this than cover other MMORPGs. The space is in a bad spot. And so that's where I'm already at. I'm already leading that direction. But we're so far out from the game getting revealed. I sincerely do not understand how people can ride highs and lows month to month from every live stream of what people show or what they don't show, or a small little thing that happens, or if the shading under a tree is too dark, or if the snow is bad. I don't get it. Like, we're just so far away. It's like, yeah, sure, this needs, like, I'm not saying don't provide feedback. You absolutely should provide feedback, but there's a difference between feedback and thinking we're anywhere close to a finished state. Like, we're not even close. So I just don't understand why people are becoming doomers this close to alpha. It's so dumb. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing too. Like, we actually have a date, and people are now putting out like, oh, they haven't announced the date yet. Is it going to be Q4? I've actually seen people question whether or not it's going to come out in Q3, and it's like, guys, we're not even Q2 yet. We have a couple days before we're in Q2. We have months before we they have to even announce a date. So I don't understand. I really don't understand. For real, problem is I base my self-worth off of the hype for matches. Yeah, Burnsy, I get it. I get it. Me too.
Much smaller in scope.
But yeah, I did okay, real quick. Sorry. We're making sure we're actually doing React content here. But I did a video last week talking about New World. New World's, for those of you guys that don't know, New World's being put on hold. I was really excited about New World and a bunch of stuff, but there's no content coming for a while. And yes, it sucks and it's unfortunate, but there are so many good games right now. Helldivers 2 is out. Dragon's Dogma 2 is out. Elden Ring, the new DLC is coming out in a couple of months here. We have Alpha 2 for Ashes coming out. Throne and Liberty is having the beta for their US release. For those of you guys interested in another, it doesn't play too bad, guys. Like, it doesn't play too bad is all I'm trying to say. And then there's, potentially an early access Dune MMO coming out later this year. There's so many. This is one of the few years where like, personally, I'm just excited about so many games that am not too worried about any one singular one failing. Let's not hope not months. I would like to know later than May stream. What? Sure. Yeah, but like April is the first month of Q2, so sometime April, May, or June we'll get the announcement date, right? I would assume they do it sometime around May. Dark and Darker is making a comeback. Exactly. There's so many good games.
Than what we originally anticipated. Well, today I want to just express some concern.
And I also want to say too that this is the MMO paradox, the MMO hype paradox in action. The less you know about a game, the more excited you are. And the more you know about a game, the less excited you are. So what's everybody excited for? The Riot MMO. What do people know about it? Nothing.
Yes.
What were people excited about with Ashes of Creation? Whenever they knew the least about it. Now that they know more, they're less excited. Throne and Liberty was the same thing.
Yep.
Blue Protocol. For years, people were glazing Blue Protocol. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be like Sword Art Online. It's gonna be amazing. And then the game comes out, and you got a loading screen inside of the same zone to go to the other side of the zone, and people are like, "Oh, well, I mean, we never thought this was gonna be that good. This is terrible. I hate this." That's what it is. People constantly do this shit. Every new game. This is the MMO paradigm.
So this is a truth fact that Asmongold's saying here. So Nice did a video last week. He did a video last week talking. I think it was an Ashes video, and somebody came on there and was like, "Doesn't matter. Ashes of Creation's taking too long to come out. The Riot MMO is going to crush Ashes of Creation and render it to dust." And basically, it was just like the Riot MMO is going to come through, and then lo and behold, they're pushing things back. They're readjusting things. But here's the thing. The Riot MMO is in such a state right now that they don't even have a fucking title for it. They don't have a title for it. And so people are out here like, "Oh yeah, this game's going to take it over." They don't even have a title. Like, we don't even know what the name of the game is. We're just calling it the Riot MMO. And I get it. It's a pedigree company that has come out with really great games in the past. Obviously, I'm very excited about it as well, but it is so fucking early for that game too. I'm not just going to be like, "Oh yeah, I don't know anything about it, but it's going to be the savior of the genre in 6 years." Like, crazy. Absolutely crazy. Everyone's sucking down the DOOMIUM. Yeah, it sounds like they're changing directions. Yeah, they just made an announcement last week, I'm pretty sure. Jeez. Okay.
Paradox. Look at Elden Ring before. Well, the difference between Elden Ring is Elden Ring came out and it was better than what people expected. Everybody thought it was going to be way better than Dark Souls. It was going to be this crazy, really good game. But no, it was just, it was only one of the greatest games of all time ever. Like there are games like Baldur's Gate 3 lived up to the hype.
We've got Alpha 2 date of at least September 30th. So what's with all the doom all of a sudden? It's been simmering for a while. I'll just say this. For those of you guys that have been in Discords and you've seen comments and stuff, there have been some simmerings about things, about when things are going to happen and how well they're going to release. And I think people are hedging their bets emotionally. I think a lot of people are emotionally hedging where they're very excited about the game, but now they want to like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Like, maybe it's not what we all made it out to be. And they're kind of like trying to protect themselves a little bit, and they're projecting that. But yeah. Narc has a consistent DOOMIUM, which leaks onto his stream, and now it's leaking onto his YouTube. Narc has been saying this for a long time. It's just, that's what I've noticed as well. His Twitch and his YouTube are now more intertwined, which I think is good for his overall content. If that's his opinion, he's more than entitled to it. I'm excited to hear his opinion on it. Phantom, what's going on? Welcome in.
Hype. Elden Ring lived up to the hype. Like, it happens, but it's very uncommon.
About the game, because even though we are only 6 months away, we actually have no idea what the launch of Alpha 2 is going to look like in terms of scope. And for an open development project that charged $250 for its access, something about that
was $500 actually
doesn't fit right with me, but I'm sure it's fine. It's gonna be fine, guys. It's gonna be.
I don't think it's really that big of a deal, actually. Like, if they want to charge money in order to be part of the alpha, that's not really a big. I don't care about that. Like, that's it's not a big deal to me. I mean, at least to me.
Yeah, so this debate's happened a while, the 250 versus free live stream, and I'd love to get your guys' opinion on this as well, since we have quite a few people in here. Galwood says his stream has been What is Intrepid hiding for about 3 months now. Yeah, I mean, I've noticed the same thing, and that's fine. People are entitled to their opinions. I'm not saying anything bad, but yeah, like this entire perspective of the 250 paid versus paid Alpha 2, it leaked out into Nico Tulo's video a few weeks ago as well, where he was talking about, you generate an echo chamber of $250, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with that at all. And I wanted to provide my opinion here, I guess. But you can make a case for both free Alpha 2 access and for a paid entry in. If you do a paid Alpha 2 access or a free Alpha 2 access, you get a lot more people to come test your game. You get a lot more people to stress test your servers and come in and try this stuff out. Obviously, for a smaller indie company like Intrepid, you don't get the money for funding and development that they're specifically looking for, so that's a knock. And you also get people that aren't super interested in your game. Like what Asmongold already commented about in this video is, when you know less about a game, you're more excited about it. A lot of people are going to go know nothing about Alpha 2 or Ashes of Creation. If it's free, they're going to come in and they're going to provide feedback, not off of like the vision of the game. They're going to provide feedback off of what they want. And I say this talking about a game that recently did this, which was New World back in 2021. They allowed people to come in and test, and they had a full-on survival style MMO, and a lot of people came in and tested it because it garnered so much hype. Your opinion on New World doesn't matter like so much right now, because at the time it was the biggest thing that people were the most excited about, and people were pushing for a toggle system, and a lot of things caused that game to fail. But the switching, doing a complete 180 of what their combat, like how their combat was going to be, from having always on PvP all the time to a toggle system and not fleshing out the game enough, has set them back for years. Literally set them back for years now, to a point to where they had to redo the main story questline. They just finished it this last year. So 3 years after the release, they had to go back and redo all this stuff because the game that they changed it to didn't have enough stuff to do. And so you see this a lot. And so if you do a free Alpha 2 access, you're going to get input from a bunch of people, all sorts of people that may be interested in your game, may not be, or just may want to play a new type of game that's literally just their game. They don't care about what the direction of the game is. They're going to provide feedback off of what they want. And those are two different things. $250, the pros are obviously Intrepid gets funding, and you get players that are more locked into what the driving core values of the game are. All of us that are here right now, we know what Ashes of Creation is about. We're excited about what it is. We may have questions about specific systems, but we like the direction, right? We like the direction with where it's going, and we can provide input based off of that specific feedback of we're fine tuning what the direction is of the game that they want to make. And so we're not molding clay. We're slowly just making improvements in the direction that, this game wants to go. And so if you don't like the game, that's fine. If you don't like a specific system, that's fine. But I think a lot of us are excited about, whether we have questions about a system, we're excited about the game as a whole. And so that's where the $250 feedback kills two birds with one stone for Ashes, where they get funding to continue to develop their game, but then they also get players that provide input. And I'm just going to push back. It's not an echo chamber. Like, we all come from different games. Like, there are players in here that are WoW mains, World of Warcraft mains, Final Fantasy mains, Elder Scrolls Online mains. We all have our favorite MMO, and we want to take our favorite parts of those MMOs and have them somewhat reflect into this game. And so because of that, our opinions and our feedback differs so greatly. We like the direction of the game, but we want to tweak it. Like, I can't tell you how many times like I've talked to other people coming from other games, and we just have differing viewpoints on where we want to see specific systems go, because we're coming from two different games, coming from two different points of view. And I think that's good. I think that's good to have those different feedbacks. It doesn't mean that one of us is right or wrong. A lot of it comes down to preference. Wouldn't go that far about testing for free. I miss those days. It used to mean something to get invited into a testing phase, for sure. I mean, I'm just saying there's pros and cons. Like if they did a free testing phase, I get that point of view. The $250 testing phase, I get that too. I think there's pros and cons to both. I don't want to knock either one. I just want to say that they're both valid options. I don't think one is better than the other. That's my perspective. That is what has been lost, the importance and excitement of being allowed to test the game during development. Sure, I can get behind that. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. If people say that it should be a free alpha 2, I'm not going to push back. Like there are pros. You get more people testing. You have to filter through testing potentially. It really depends on like how much interest your game is garnered, right? Like how many players can you get in to test stuff, and you need to have a certain threshold of an amount of testers to make sure bugs are caught. I think you can make a case either way.
Now, with all that bollocks out of the way, let's begin, shall we?
Here's why you need to attend one of my Master Mentors live events coming to your area soon.
In just 6.
You're a millionaire? Yeah, but like I also just, it's like, I mean, what? Like, just don't buy it.
So, in the last video, you guys gave some really encouraging comments about the way that I spoke openly.
Holy shit, this guy's so fucking annoying with his constant covering this game with this fake persona. We know Steven is paying you, so stop pretending you're hyped for this scam. The combat is bad, the world has no style, and you have no personality. You're just a shill for a fake game. You know what really makes this good is the emojis. If the emojis weren't there, it wouldn't be funny, but the emojis are what really makes this funny.
And express myself. So, I think this video, I will try to continue that trend without going too far off the deep end, because this topic has been eating away at my being for a very, very long time. Long enough to start affecting me negatively, I think. Don't worry about the fact that I haven't streamed for 2 weeks.
Jesus.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no.
Jesus. Ooh. Man. I remember whenever I had hair too.
Because marketing for an alpha is always going to be a strange topic to discuss. And what we're basically discussing here is potential future marketing in a sense. Why would an alpha game spend money and resources marketing a testing phase that has no active way to purchase into it and is right now smack bang in the middle of some pretty hardcore development and polish phases, as explained by Steven in the last live stream.
Our team, specifically tech art, environment, our engineering teams, they are overhauling performance related work over the course of this last month, as well as next month and the month thereafter in preparation for Alpha 2. You guys should see some significant gains in the demonstrations that we continue to provide leading up to Alpha 2 with regards to that work. And in addition, Chris, Gabe, John on the environment side are undergoing some significant lighting changes, which are going to impact and influence the visuals of the game
seems good.
in a very significant way.
A lot of people had feelings about lighting today.
Yes, I just want you guys to know that when we talk about how things are still a work in progress,
I'm gonna just say it right now. I don't give a fuck about lighting. I gotta see the systems. I gotta play the game. We gotta look at the combat. Like, people were unhappy with me because I said Dragon's Dogma was a 9.5 game. I love this fucking game. I even was playing. I already beat the game once. I'm playing it again. I'm doing it again. And you know why? Because it's fucking fun. I like the combat. Like, I only care about systems, combat, and gameplay. Like, everything else, like, if you are watching my stream, you should care about that shit. If you want to hear about how the lighting is, or the graphics, or the story, or anything like that, I talk a little bit about stories, but for the most part, I care all about combat. That's it.
Yeah. I agree. This is kind of my perspective as well. Like, when people provide feedback on like the background and stuff, I think that feedback is good. It's not something I normally provide. Like when they were showing the lighting, I'm not going to continue to gripe about lighting with a game that I think is going to be out 3 years from now. Like, I just don't care so much about that. My perspective is if the systems are good, to me in this game, if the systems of this game are good, it will carry this game. Like, absolutely carry it. The entire idea, the design of the systems for this game are so freaking intriguing. They're going to create so much interesting gameplay among players that it can carry it. Like, we can literally be stick figures wielding stick weapons, and if the systems are good, people will play this game because it's such a unique system. As long as the combat works and everything like that, the graphics, this is going to be my spiciest take, I guess. The graphics won't matter too much. The combat won't even matter too much. I still care about the combat. Like, I want the combat to look good. I want the combat to feel good. I want it to be rewarding. But if the systems are done correctly, this game is going to be really freaking good, in my opinion. And yeah, we'll talk about combat when we get to the fighter preview. But that's going to be my spiciest take. So as long as that works, like the other things, obviously you want them to be good. You should be providing feedback on that. But to me, it all comes down to systems, combat, and like interaction. And as long as you have those things, I think it's going to be a good game. Totally agree with the lighting. Could care less. Gameplay rules today. Yeah, I mean, and there are dark spots. I agree with that. And I think that is good to highlight it because you want the game to look good. Arctic, what's up, dude? I'm saying we'll touch on the visual changes, but who cares? Gameplay is king. Exactly. I think people miss that the packs were funding the assets shown in the packs and price was to honor the Kickstarter prices. Yeah, exactly. I agree. HD, good to see you. Until he talks about the importance of how it looks and how Ashes is now behind the graphics. Yeah, that's the crazy part, right? Like, Asmongold spent 2 years talking about how the art style had no feel and how it didn't look good, and now it's just like, yeah, I don't care about the art. And I think the art and the graphics, when done well in this game, on some of the live streams, I think it looks really good, personally. Gameplay, combat systems, the shit makes the game the game. Story and shit builds the world around you, but if you don't like how the game plays, you won't like the game. Yeah. Yep, I agree. Look at Minecraft. Thank you, Annie. Exactly. Minecraft's a perfect example. What's the other one? Is it BattleBots? Is that the FPS game? The stick shooter FPS game? Or BattleBit? Is it BattleBit? I haven't played it, but yeah, there's some games like you really don't need good graphics. Obviously, they're selling Unreal Engine 5, and so if you post an Unreal Engine 5 game and it's stick figures, that's going to look bad. I'm not saying it's not, but it is. If we're talking about tiers of importance, graphics and shading and lighting to me are like in the 10 to 20 range for importance for a game, in my opinion. And we can disagree. We can have differing points of view. I think that's the point. We're not an echo chamber. So if you guys disagree with me, that's fine. I think that's good. People still play games like Dark Ages Camelot because of gameplay, not UI and graphics. Yeah. People still play World of Warcraft. Sorry, I had to. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of World of Warcraft people in here. I had to say it. It was just a joke. Hard disagree on both accounts. Yeah. I need a full package. That's fair. That's fair. We have different points of view. That's fine. Obviously, if they're releasing an Unreal Engine 5 game, you want it to look good, you want it to play well. But to me, the game will succeed or fail based off the systems. As long as the systems are good, the game will be good. But yeah, they're working on everything else. It would be a disappointment from Intrepid if that's the only thing that was good. All right, we'll keep going.
Combat gameplay minute to minute. The minute
Good
to
to see you,
minute gameplay.
Sawman, by the way.
You don't care about progression? Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, of course.
This particular endeavor is likely going to have the most impact on the visuals of the game as they continue to work on lighting. That's going to be a switch that we flip when it's ready for how the world looks and their work that they're doing. So just want to keep you guys abreast of that. It is exciting times when it comes to that work.
The TLDR of Ashes of Creation's current development is basically still too far away to be excited, but still close enough for people to stay tuned in.
I mean, I'll tell you this, right? The graphics here don't look great, but that's not going to stop me from playing the game. Like, we have a Minotaur and Vladimir Putin. That's nice. Sure. You're going to play the game either way.
Sure.
Intrepid have a huge marketing push planned for when Alpha 2 is right around the corner. Are they further polishing the game from now until then in preparation for that marketing push?
Yeah.
And have Intrepid already answered all of these questions that I've asked? Well, it turns out that I scripted this video last month, and since
Ooh.
then, Margaret did answer these very questions.
Okay, what
And
are
I
they?
think, Margaret, there's something you wanted to talk a little bit about, kind of on what to expect with regards to, the feature set that we're going to be launching Alpha 2 with, because we've been getting a lot of questions about that.
But basically, we have a plan. So just stick with us. We'll share information with you guys as we go forward.
Yeah,
But
just
right now-
shut the fuck up and calm down. If it's not ready, it's not ready. Like, just like
I can't
what
believe
is
I'm watching
this?
an
Like, it's just
Asmongold
a
video where I
fucking
agree with
game.
everything.
Like, if there's like 50 other games, just go play those games till this one's ready. Like, why is this happening? What is this? Why don't you invest in Ashes Creation? Because I'm invested in 50 other things. I've got too many fucking investments already. I got people, I wake up in the morning, there's 10 fucking missed messages. I'm capped.
we're not going to be, we don't want to get people all hyped for what's in Alpha 2 when we're not quite there, right? So
Yeah.
we have a cadence in which we will be providing information, but stay tuned. We'll have a guide for Alpha 2 with information on what you can expect, what features you're going to be able to see, what systems, what archetypes are going to be available, etc. at the start of Alpha 2.
However, that still doesn't answer the concerns the demons in my head have been whispering to me. And it's about time I got these off my chest because, personally, I think Intrepid have become increasingly distant with us in terms of communication and teases. Staying in touch with the community has always been one of Intrepid's biggest...
This is the problem, is like if you show something too early, people will say that it's bad. And they won't be able, this is the problem, is that once people create an opinion, they don't want to change that opinion because changing the opinion implies that they were wrong. And people don't like being wrong. So they just hold on to wrong opinions and things that are outdated because of their ego. So that's why they don't show this stuff. It makes sense, really.
Yeah, I mean, so a few things on feedback as far as like things that they've shown. Narc already brought it up. I brought it up on other podcasts and stuff. What happened with the character creator, right? Like I've seen different arguments. Like when we go back and we look at the January showcase and they had the picture of all the PvP participants. The characters didn't look great. Let's just admit it. Like it's okay to talk about it. The characters didn't look great, but they had the character creator up and running like a year ago or 2 years ago now, and so I'm not gonna like go full like DOOMIUM like in the title on this, but I think it's a valid question to ask Intrepid. Like, hey, why does the character creator from a year or two ago not match the characters that they're showing on stream? Like, are you having an issue with Unreal Engine 5? Has it not crossed over? Like, are they separate systems that haven't been intertwined? Did you have an issue with the layering and therefore like a lot of the details are left out? I don't know. I would like to know the answer to that. But I'm not going to think that like the game is coming to an end because of these things. But it is a very valid point to bring up. I like this Narc video simply because he was honest and being himself closer to his Twitch character. Sure. The reason they looked bad in the PvP stream was due to LD. Yeah, I saw Lineker bring that up. And I went back and I looked at Unreal Engine like 5.2 and 5.3, and they brought up the shading and different layers and everything. And so I would just, yeah, it keeps being brought up, and I'm just going to keep bringing up that point that like, yeah, I think it's a valid concern to bring up and talk about, but I don't think it means the end of the world. Like knowing where that disconnect is would be good. It was due to the build they used. Okay. Let me keep going.
And one of the reasons why we continue to support this project. Stephen popping into the Discord and dropping exciting teases, answering the odd question, and even leaking some screenshots occasionally of their progress, and that genuinely felt special throughout the last...
If you zoom in and look at 2% of a low resolution screenshot, it's going to look bad. It's a bad image to use for comparison. Absolutely. And I brought that up as well. Like they showed, so Galwood, that's a perfect point. In mine and Nice's Voices of Vera Discord, when we talked about it when it happened, I showed a picture because like clearly that's the same town that they've been around. And if you look in the background of the wall, there's no detail on that wall either. It could have been a lower PC. It could have been a lower PC resolution as well. There was a lot of other issues going on. It was very zoomed in. There was a lot of things going on there. But like even when we look at this character that they're using during this live stream, it doesn't look like what we saw a year or two ago with the character creator. So I do think that that's a valid point to bring up. But yes, like, yeah, that zoomed in picture, there were a lot of things not going well for it. I did get a great, on our Voices of Vera podcast, I do now have a great VEC that I use for my character when I'm talking to Nice. So it wasn't all bad, is what I'm trying to say. The UO5 engine gives you more detail when you zoom in, unlike a static image. Sure.
Few years as we patiently waited for Alpha 2. To me, it feels a little bit like the team have devolved into a more safe corporate approach to communicating with us, sending mixed messages that contradict themselves due to miscommunication, and I'm really not sure why. The game is in a very sensitive stage right now, with the pack sales ended and still a way to go until anything huge is announced, and that comes across quite poorly to the casual audience when this indie Kickstarter MMO slows down communication when no longer getting any income for their game that doesn't exist.
I think that if people try to create those correlations...
Okay. Can I ask chat, do I have to put a poll up here? Let me switch things over. Let me do a poll. Do people sincerely think that communication has dropped? I don't want to provide my... I guess I just did by asking it in that way. but do you guys think that communication has slowed down? Because I don't see it. Feel free to chime in. Like, I feel like it's been the same steady cadence that it's always been, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like we don't get much stuff. We get an announcement for what what it's going to be, what the showcase is going to be. They talk about it. Sometimes Steven chimes in during Discord. I feel like nothing has really changed. I feel like the live streams have gotten better. The live streams have gotten a lot better, in my opinion. So I don't know where this is coming from. Live streams have been consistent. December to April has historically always been more quiet. Yeah, I mean, you guys all stay at, like, we have a lot of content creators from the game in the chat. I'm just curious. Am I the only one that thinks this? The amount of presence of devs and AOC streams, response on the forums, etc., all on point as they have been. Jumping into random chats, videos, live streams, etc., have been less. Yeah, they've definitely jumped into less live streams. I have noticed that. But I chalk that up to being very busy. I agree with that. That's been my perspective as well. I've just, like, they're gearing up for Alpha 2. It is a very big release point. They're not going to discuss a lot of details anyways, getting up to it. So I do agree with that point of view. That's a very good point, Phantom. Thank you. Guess the Steven jump in Discord with leaks slowed down and he uses that to pad content throughout the month. Oh, fair. Okay. What the? Did I choose the... I did. Oh my goodness. That's the next video, guys. I'm sorry. That's the next video. They really should be heads down sprinting towards Alpha 2. Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, there's nothing Steven has said or done that hasn't shown exactly what they're going to do leading up to this. They want boss encounters. They want Alpha 2 and beta experiencers to experience the game for the first time. They're not going to showcase a bunch of things. They're going to leave that up to the players to experience. They've talked about this a lot. They've talked about this for experiences while you're fighting in dungeons, while you're experiencing the in-game situation. But they've also come out and said, like, hey, we're not going to talk about everything that's available in the game because we want the players to experience it themselves. We want the players to experience these things. And so that's always been my perspective. So yeah, we're not going to get everything. One thing I do notice, and I feel this may have a play in things, as pointed out, all the creators are here right now. Narc is in his own bubble with his own people and doesn't interact with the rest of us, nor care our opinions. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's also, this is also late for him as well. I'm pretty sure he's in the 99% certain he's in the UK. So it's like 6 hours ahead of us. So he's, what time is it right now? 3 a.m. for him. So it gets a little rough for that reason. Just mad because his content is hurting. Yeah. Way back 2018, Steven was in almost everything. No always chatting, but his account was in chat. Sure. All right.
You've already lost them. They're not creating that correlation. They're expressing a decision that they've already made in their mind. The truth is that I think that most normal people, I don't know, am I crazy here? I don't give a fuck about the communication. Just tell me when the game's going to come out, listen to what people's feedback is from it, and fix the game or not. I think that it is more important that a developer, like it might sound crazy, but I am very much in favor of if a developer feels like something is part of their vision for a game, then they should do it. Like with Shadowlands, they tried it, it didn't work. But the truth is that they have every right to try it. But also consumers have every right to say that it sucks. But I want to see what their vision for the game is, try it out, and see what happens. I think a great example of this is Dragon's Dogma 2. There are a lot of things in that game that were antiquated 10 years ago, but they're still there in the game. Why is that? Because it was the vision for the game. And I want to see that vision be completed regardless of whether or not I necessarily agree with it, because at least then you're getting something authentic. And then you can hopefully fix things from there. Players paying big money for packs before they actually know what it's going to look like, actually online or not. Thanks for easy money for the creators, I guess. Yeah, but like once you give somebody money, it doesn't, like if you support a Kickstarter project, I think that it becomes very problematic whenever, and this is like, remember what I said before about how like I didn't like the idea of like people gifting and donating a bunch of money to me because it creates weird expectations? I wonder what I was talking about.
I will say I love the open development that Ashes of Creation does. I love the open development that Baldur's Gate 3 had. I think it's, if that is the route you're going to go, where you're providing feedback you're getting feedback from the community and you're doing an open development style game, I think it helps you stay resonated with your core base as to what the game is. So if you like how I envision a lot of their live streams is they're working on a bunch of different things and they get to a point to where they're like, hey, we kind of want to we're at a point where we want to showcase this. We want to get feedback to make sure we're on the right path with our community to make sure that we are resonating. Because the biggest, I don't know if you guys notice this, but a lot of social media, a lot of what gets me into games is people posting fun content. People posting really fun stuff, it going viral either on Twitter or it getting a lot of likes on YouTube shorts or whatever. Like, obviously they're going to do their own broadcasting for when the game goes live, but player-based having fun in the game is a huge part of getting players in. That's why, like, this, what I'm talking about right now is why I got personally into Helldivers 2. Why I personally started playing Helldivers 2 was because I saw so many funny clips of it. I've heard feedback from the developers, and I like what they're talking about. They're like, yeah, we're going to keep team killing because it's funny. They're like, yeah, we want you to kill we're not going to shut team killing off. It's funny to us. Okay, I can get behind that. Killing your own teammates is funny. I agree. And after I saw that, I got the game. And so that's my perspective on it. So got to get to bed. Okay, good night, Annie. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. But yeah, that's been my perspective as well. Is I like the open feedback, but does that mean that they have to respond every week or two? Does that mean that they need to leak different details every couple of weeks? Does that mean that they need to do anything outside of their monthly showcase? No. To me, absolutely not. They're already doing a monthly showcase. They're already going above and beyond like 98% of games right now by doing a monthly showcase. When Dune announced that they were going to do a showcase, I was excited for it. I'm gonna keep pounding the table for games to do more stuff like this, continue to have open development, continue to show their progress in the game, because it allows people to then make more informed decisions.
That's the reason. It's different? Nope. It's not different to me. Seems the same to me.
Hopefully these words don't come across in the wrong.
I had a student, not a gamer, tell me she did something on her art project for democracy. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly my point.
Way, but the last 4 or 5 live streams have created more questions than answers, leaving us quite concerned with the state of the game. Because there's this huge emphasis of no spoilers around Ashes of Creation, it's left the community completely and utterly lost as to what Alpha 2's launch is going to contain. And although the team have assured us that they have this big marketing plan coming up, why can't they just talk openly about it now? Is it because Intrepid themselves don't know? Then tell us that. That's all we're asking for. Communication. We've been left in the dark about Alpha 2's launch now for over 3 years straight, and not...
It's been a long time. Like, when was the first time that I played Ashes of Creation?
Procreate Dreams is finally out, which is so exciting.
It'll be
and a
hard
lot of you
keeping my
have been
mouth shut
asking for
watching
tips
all
and
of you
tricks
now.
on how to get started
What do you mean,
using it.
Phantom? What do you mean?
It doesn't even show. It's been so long, it doesn't even show. Asmongold Alpha 1. 2 years ago.
She's still watching.
Holy shit. July 10th, 2021. Oh my god. Yeah, almost 3 years ago. Yeah, it's been a long time since this game's been playable.
Once has the team ever
I do think also, like, whenever you create an expectation, if you change that expectation, people will be upset.
given us a straight answer. Even when directly asked, it is still met with deflection widely open to misinterpretation.
All right, good night, Annie.
Which zones can we expect to see in Alpha 2, and how many of them are in a comparable state to the Riverlands, and how far along in development they are?
We have a lot of zones that are planned for Alpha 2. Not all of them will be online by the time Alpha 2 launches, but they will be continuously integrated and launched as part of Alpha 2 continuing forward. You know, the big areas...
So it's going to come out, and then they're not going to have all of them, and then they're going to add more of them? Okay.
Obviously are the Riverlands, the Badlands, the Sandsquall Desert, the Tropics,
the Sandlands,
the forest areas,
the forest, the tree lands,
tabletop mountains, and
the mountain
tundra
lands,
and ice areas.
Iceland.
This answer from Stephen, although it's a great answer, it doesn't answer the question that was given. And when pressed about this later on, it is again.
Well, because he didn't know. They don't know what it is. That's the reason why. I mean, they don't know. Yeah, it's like, the thing is, I could easily say, if they told me, they said, we're not sure yet, it depends, I would be like, okay. But the problem is that whenever you say things like that, and after Ashes of Creation has gotten a lot of attention, there will be...
Oh, shit. I hit the forward button. Maybe I hit the back button.
They don't know what it is.
There we go. Okay. Jamie gave me the kick in the ass to join. Oh, you joined PI. Congratulations, man. So not to be very... Okay. Okay, that's fair. I wasn't sure what you meant. That's fair.
That's the reason why. I mean,
I was like, what did I do?
Yeah, it's like, the thing is, I could easily say, if they told me, they said, we're not sure yet, it depends, I would be like, okay. But the problem is that whenever you say things like that, and after Ashes of Creation has gotten a lot of attention, there will be people, especially because, like, everybody is so skittish with, like, these Kickstarter projects and these Kickstarter things. What ends up happening is that a lot of people are like, as soon as they hear something like that, they're like, oh, these guys don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. Like, that's it. Right? They've been burnt. Yeah, exactly. Like, people have had a lot of bad experiences. And even Steven said this whenever I interviewed him, like 3 or 4 years ago or something. He was like, you know, MMO gamers are like a beaten dog, you know. They don't want to come back because they're afraid. And so of having it happen again. And I think that's definitely true. People are skittish because people paid $500. I think that, like, really, if you donate $500 to a project, I think that, honestly, just let them cook. Let them make the game.
Yes.
And if it's not happening, then you need to think about, why did you give them the $500, and you need to exercise more discretion with your money in the future. Because whenever you're donating to a project like this, they're not signing a contract with you. They're not making a marriage with you. They're not, you know, like, this isn't a blood pact. It's just you're giving them money to hopefully fix the game and make the game. Or not fix the game, make the game. So just stop. Like, I feel like there's like a certain degree of like entitlement that like happens, and I understand the entitlement. And that's why, for example, like I don't like people like giving me a bunch of money, right? Because I know what that creates. But I also don't think that it's like fair to do that. Yeah, they think they paid to be on the dev team. Exactly. Yeah, that's the way some of these people feel. I donated to them back in the day. I won't have to pay any subscription once the game comes out. If it comes out, amazing. If it doesn't, joke's on me. I took the chance. Yeah, it's not a big deal, man.
Yeah, but with the Alpha 2 keys, when the Alpha 2 keys came out and they had the finite date back in January, we had people in Discord or on our YouTube, like Nice and I's podcast, asking all the time, should I get an Alpha 2 key? And my point of view has always been, I'm not going to influence anybody making a monetary decision. You have to do that for yourself. You have to make your own decision. My decision was, hey, there is, in any type of investment like this, there is some chance the game doesn't come out, and I threw away $250. It does. I don't think it was a high chance. That's why I spent $250 for an Alpha 2 key, but there is some chance there. And having that perspective that, yes, sometimes things can go really badly. And if it does, am I okay with it? Is important to have for your own personal perspective. And so this entire people upset about $250, you don't have to pay for it. Like, you don't have to pay for anything. They're doing open development. Alpha 2 is going to have no NDA, I think, for all of it, or the vast majority of it. People are going to be live streaming. You're going to be able to watch. You don't have to pay anything to get more informed about this game. That's the crazy part about this to be. It's like, oh, it costs $250 to get in. Yeah, if you want to provide, help provide money for the development and then also get an Alpha 2, absolutely. You want to get an earlier access, that's what you have to do for this specific game. But you don't have to do that to be informed. The beaten dog is what got me into Alpha 2 buy-in. Yeah, me too. I would rather spend $250 on Alpha 2 for Ashes than to buy 3 or 4 MMOs right now. That's just my perspective. I was okay with it because I was more excited about this than what I was with the entire gaming landscape.
It's a donation, not an investment. Yeah.
Met with deflection, and we still have no clear answer to this extremely important question. This lack of knowledge is genuinely hurting the game's interest. People are dropping out left, right, and...
I mean, this is like 5,000 views, right? It's not like really a big deal. But, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Center, simply because there's nothing to be hyped about anymore, and I hope my explanation of this has helped Intrepid see that. For the guys,
I also think that another piece of context is that whenever Ashes of Creation originally got announced, let's see, when was that? That was in like 2020, 2021. At that point in time, there was no game that had this style of graphics.
It's a pre-order, like, not a donation,
much more
not
hyper-realistic. Not really hyper-realistic, but like high-fidelity MMO graphical style. So I think people got really excited. Well, I'm talking about whenever I covered it. I know it got announced in 2016 or some other, like, I thought it was 2017. But either way, like, what I'm saying is, like, the
he posted the Nico video. That's if you guys haven't seen it, Nice did a really good react to it last week. I did an entire video where I was talking about it and didn't come out how I wanted it to. Like, I spent all this time editing, working on upgrading it or uploading it, and I just couldn't get the exact take I wanted for it. And then after like a week, I was like, okay, well, this is just way too late for this. My perspective on Nico's entire video is I think he has a timetable for when Ashes is going to release. And because Ashes isn't meeting his timetable, he is now no longer interested. Like, everything he was talking about is like, they have to do so much more before this game comes out. It's just not going to come out. And I was trying to put myself in his perspective. And I was like, okay, if I was going to make a video like this, what would have to happen for Ashes from my perspective in order for me to make a video? And so if I thought that Ashes was going live in like 2025, hypothetically, if I thought it was going to be a fully functioning game in January of 2025 or June of 2025, I would be sitting here and I'd be like, there's no way. There's no way that you are going to have everything that you're saying you're going to have done by that time period. And so that's why I believe that he thinks that this game is going to come out in like 1 or 2 years, and it's going to just be a shell of itself. When from my perspective, it's just not. Like, it's just not going to come out that quickly. And so I think his perspective is guided by like his preconceived notion. Like, he brought up the point that It's already been 7 years in development, and he believes that it was going to, you know, take 7, 8, 9 years, and they're already at that point, and they haven't done enough in his eyes. Vladis talked to him on 1v12. He did. I have not seen that yet. That's a good point, Pockets. Thank you. It's hurting the game. Yeah, I don't agree with this at all. I don't think this is hurting the game at all. I don't care if I'll be honest. If they go in and they announce that Alpha 2 for the first couple of months is just going to be the Riverlands biome, I don't care. I really don't, because their Alpha 2 is for spot testing. It is for testing different systems. And if they want to test the Riverlands to make sure you're not going to fall through the map, is anybody going to care if it's just the biome? If it's just one biome and then like a month later they open up another one and they do the exact same thing and they say, hey, this next one we're going to be in the desert and we're only going to be in the desert. No, like that's where I'm sitting. Like, I don't care if it's going to have one biome or 3 or if all of them are going to be available. It's all for testing. Too much speculation and anticipation for dates that don't exist. Yeah, that's exactly. It's like saying you won't eat a delicious dinner because it's taking too long to make. Exactly. Y'all be good. Got to get early meetings tomorrow. Thanks for the conversation. Yeah, thanks for stopping in, Phantom. Yeah, I brought up on me and Nice talked about it, and I compared it to building a shed, but we could talk about like making food. Like, let's say you're smoking a brisket, which I love, by the way. If any of you guys smoke a brisket in the future, I would love an invite. But briskets take a really fucking long time to make. Like, the brining process for the briskets I've done take 4 or 5 days. They take 4 or 5 days to brine, and then they take 6 to 8 hours to then smoke a brisket. And so basically we're like day 2 or day 3 in the brining process. And that's like somebody coming up and being like, hey man, you don't have any bark on that brisket right now. What the fuck's going on? Like, it's been 3 days. It's like, well, yeah. And it's going to be another day of doing this before I even consider seasoning it and then smoking it. So like, we're not there yet. You got to literally let me cook. See what I did there, guys? See what I did there? It worked. Just dry brine a couple days ahead and do a 20-ish hour smoke. Yeah. Dry brine is fantastic. I did a what was it? It was a pastrami style brisket burns. And the pastrami style brisket called for smoking it, like it was liquid brine for 4 days. It was very, very good. But yeah, it was just a longer process. But yeah, the dry brine can be a lot quicker. So nice walking up at like 3 a.m. to the smoker. It's so relaxing. Dude, yeah. Waking up at 3 a.m., popping up the smoker, and then just relaxing all day. There's not many things better. If you want the link, Burns, if you want the link of the smoke of the brisket I did, I can send it to you. By far, the best brisket I've ever made. By far. But yeah, I will never say no to brisket. I will never say no to a barbecue. But yeah, like there's a process for making some things, and we're just early in this process. Funny enough, I wonder what difference knowing how many biomes will be in Alpha 2 can make. Like, are you not going to play if it's just one? I get wanting to know, but ain't that serious to rush. Yeah, that exactly. Like, I would like to know of how many biomes are going to be. They've said that they're planning on 3, but I don't care which ones it is. And if it was just one, I really wouldn't care either. It's the beginning of Alpha 2. Like, we still have Beta 1 and Beta 2 to go. That's my perspective. And I'm just one person. If you guys disagree, feel free to chime in.
The style for the game, like, it looked like the game had a lot more over something like Final Fantasy 14 or WoW. But now that you're seeing other games, like, for example, New World had come out since then, Throne and Liberty has come out, and I think there's a couple of other MMOs that have come out as well that have like these really high levels of graphical fidelity. And then also, like, for example, ArcAge 2. Like, ArcAge 2 looks better than this game does. So, like, the next-gen vibe of Ashes of Creation kind of outdated itself because so many other games were able to come out and go public before it did. What do you guys think? You guys agree with that? PAX Day is another one. Yeah, that's another great example.
I mean,
it's a common problem with MMOs. Yeah, exactly.
You're comparing Alpha
hype is literally your own fault.
Outside of PAX Day, you're comparing up and running games to a pre-Alpha 2 game. This isn't copium. This is just objectively, this is where we're at. Like, and I've heard people say that it's the Unreal Engine, which version they're in, that's causing some of the fidelity issues. They're working towards it. Obviously, I hope for it to be better. obviously it should look better than Throne of Liberty, which is on Unreal Engine 4. This is on Unreal Engine 5. You're hoping it's going to look better, of course. But yeah, like, I don't know. If you're comparing pre-Alpha 2 Ashes to live up-and-coming games, I think that's nothing but a compliment, personally.
That's what happens for sure.
Out there going on about, oh, don't give us spoilers, guys.
Like, I'll give
please.
you, you know, I want to make sure that I like kind of like hammer this home. Let me go back. Asmongold, AOC, Unreal 5. So, do I get a chance to see 2024? Ah, fuck. I'm not sure if I can find it here. But whenever they announced that the Ashes of Creation Alpha, is this it? Yeah, no, this is one of the later ones. Unreal Engine 5 walkthrough, yeah. Well, if you go back and you look at it 2 years ago, this style of graphics 2 years ago was incredible. Like, the level of quality here was really, really good. But nowadays, you see a bunch of other games that can meet this level of quality, and it's not that big of a difference. So, it wasn't... Well, no, I mean, like... But if you scroll down and you read these comments, every single person is excited. Every single person is positive. I'm not talking about, like, what words can I describe. Yeah, everybody was talking about it. Now, maybe your opinion was not that, but this was the resounding opinion of most people. And you can see that clearly with the 2-year-old comments here. Visuals are phenomenal. Can't wait for the full release. This is an absolute pog. This game doesn't have the shitty bald top polish yet. There it is. And so everybody is positive about it. Now you look at Arcade 2. And I'm not going to show the whole thing.
I know it's wrong, but it feels so...
Shake a leg, the brainstorm's kicking off on the board.
But...
Just last month they said be patient, there's a plan for Alpha 2. Yeah, exactly.
There it is.
Like, I don't need to know more.
And I would say
if
this
you
looks
say
better
that
than
there's a
Ashes of
plan,
Creation.
and the plan then
And
isn't.
in my opinion, it's not even close.
Yeah,
This
sure.
looks incredible. This is amazing.
Sure.
That's not gameplay, though. I think these are captured in engine. I'm fairly certain they are. Because a lot of games do this now. Yeah, this is gameplay. Like, this gameplay looks better than Ashes. Like, people really liked it whenever it came out until they, like, apparently ruined it with pay to win.
The whole fucking...
Sure. But yeah, once again, we're talking Alpha 2 versus a live game. And yes, like, hopefully this game looks a lot better than what it currently does. That would be a pretty big miss. that would be a very big miss if the game released the way it currently looks. But they're already talking about improving it. My perspective is if you announce that you're going to be working on things, if it doesn't happen, then that's the point where I talk about it. So, like, if they say, hey, yeah, we have a plan for Alpha 2 information coming out, okay, well, like, I will wait until, you know, that happens. And if that doesn't happen, then it's something to talk about. Like, hey, you guys didn't do this. You didn't bring this up. You said you were going to. What happened? And that's my perspective.
project is a giant spoiler.
Good point.
It's nonsense. And I think it's mainly because a lot of people don't seem to grasp how long Alpha 2 is going to be. So let's say, for example, Alpha 2 is the Riverlands, the Badlands, the Sand Squall Desert, forest areas, and tropics, as stated by Steven in 2022. It would have taken the team about 3 years to finish 70% of roughly 4.
Somebody says you're comparing a single-player co-op game to an MMO. Arcade 2 is a... You're thinking of Crimson Desert. Arcade 2 is an MMO.
Or 5 biomes. Ashes of Creation's world has 18 planned biomes,
Holy
plus
shit.
a huge ocean, plus a huge amount of mechanics that are confirmed to not even be online for the launch of Alpha 2.
That's
so
a lot.
does that mean, relative to the current development speed, Alpha 2 will persist for 6 years minimum? It's an interesting thought, because it does kind of make the game feel like a fantasy version of Star Citizen. Are you okay with that? After all,
And to be fair, I will say again, this Star Citizen tech demo was actually like, it was a Star Engine tech demo, and Star Citizen is bringing out this game. It's like, what, like Citizen 47 or some fucking bullshit. And it's coming out. Like, this was probably the most insane tech demo that I have ever seen. Like, I would say this is this is on the same level as the first Unreal 5 tech demo.
Sure.
Where it was like that girl going through like that like ruins of everything. This was fucking ridiculous.
Motto of Ashes of Creation seems to be they're doing things right no matter how long it takes.
Like, I would say that Ashes of Creation, and this is coming from somebody who's like very positive about the game, Ashes of Creation has never created anything that is even half as impressive as this demo was. At least not yet. This is disgustingly fucking good.
Yeah.
No matter how
I agree
long it takes. But let's pull the discussion back a little now and actually talk about the launch of Alpha 2. The team have showed...
He doesn't know. He really doesn't. What is that in reference to, Galwood? Sorry. I'm just catching up on chat. I think that Intrepid was dragging feet waiting for the Unreal updates. I now question how much of the map is completed, so now we wait and see what is and what isn't ready in Q3. Yeah, well, and I think I've kind of talked about this, and like, this is just my opinion, and I'm not saying I'm right or anything like that. But I think a lot of production will escalate once they have the core systems down. Like, once you have the building block for how a node is constructed, upgraded, you have the different art styles, plopping in nodes won't be as big of a deal. The map is going to take more time and everything, but like having the system in place, they're going to be able to speed through the other areas quicker than what they have for the first 3. I don't know how long that's going to take. I do think it's going to take a while, but I think that the initial stages of building the initial construction of the first ones are just taking much, much longer. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And so I think it'll naturally speed up, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much is actually ready. Narcos community have one up themselves into thinking Alpha 2 will be 6 years. They think it's going to be Okay. So that's where this is coming from. They think it's so far away. Crackers, good to see you, man. It's going to be 2 years. That's Cope. It'll be 3 years. Sure. Intrepid is building vertically and then horizontally. Once the systems are proven, and horizontal will be much better. Yeah, that's exactly my perspective.
Showed us a lot of assets over the last 4 years. They've shown us 3D models of nearly all the races in the game, including the basic Kayla that were featured in the character creator, the Vec that we've seen a lot, also featured in the character creator. We've seen the Empyrean in-game, the Pyre in-game, and we've also seen 3D models of the Valoon humans and their Jinn forms, as well as the 2 dwarven races, Dunir and Nikua. The only race we haven't seen a proper 3D model of is the Renkai. However, they did show us an early version which was later reworked with a much more Asian aesthetic. As for the Tulnar, well, we've seen concept, but we know for a fact the Tulnar are not planning to be live for the launch of Alpha 2 anyway, which leads us nicely on to my point here. What races are planning to be live for the launch of Alpha 2? The reason for such a high focus on this particular question stems from us only seeing 2 Kayla nodes. For those of you who don't follow religiously, Ashes of Creation...
Yeah, and this, by the way, is like, this looks very nice. Like, this meets like what I've said before about like the graphics. Graphics for me in a lot of cases are like a benchmark. Are the graphics good enough that they do not take away from my enjoyment from the game? Yes, these graphics are good enough to where, like, I will not be actively thinking about the game looking like shit. But there are other games that do look a lot better. They do.
Nodes are supposed to adopt the aesthetics of the race which contribute the most experience to them. That means nodes in this game will not all look how we've seen them so far. Every single race in the game has their own node aesthetics, and over the years we've seen a few examples of this in both concept art and trailers. More importantly though, these mechanics were present in Alpha 1 as they had early iterations of the Kayla, Dunir and Empyrean nodes that could all be built up to Stage 3. I think nodes in general are one of my biggest concerns for the game, and considering we're this close to Alpha 2's release, we're still missing major information like this. So I wonder what the plan is. Steven claims nodes will progress all the way up to level 5, the city stage for Alpha 2's launch, but that statement doesn't line up with...
I also want to say that, like, the reason why they're probably more opaque with what they say is, like, remember whenever Steven said something about crossbows, and he said there would be crossbows in the game and then there wouldn't be, and, like, people tried to, like, point that out. The issue is that, like, once, like, things like this get moving, everybody starts, like, getting hyper-critical and, like, hyper-paranoid. And I think the reason why is that there are a lot of Kickstarter scams that happen, and people are looking for a game to be a scam. And I think also this happens from bad actors and people that are, you know, fans of other games, and they see a game like this that could potentially be doing well. And it's like, well, if this game does well and it kills my main game, then this 3,000 or 6,000 hours I put on my main game doesn't matter anymore.
This is a great point. This is a really good point. And I've seen this happen on YouTube as well. I think all of this is a very good point. There are a lot of very bad actors in the MMORPG space, in the video game space as a whole. We've had two big, Day Before was a huge scam. There was the other MMO, I don't remember the name of it, that was broadcasting. And they're like, yeah, we're going to release. And then it kind of picked up steam, and then everybody realized that was a scam. It happens. And so people look for it. And I think it's good to question these things. And yeah, Steven has been bitten in the past. They, like, Intrepid in general has been called out for this, where they've announced stuff too early. They weren't able to meet those specific requirements, and because of that, when that happens, where you say something's going to happen and it doesn't, that creates way more negative emotion than just being a little bit more vague and be like, hey, when we have it, we'll show it to you. Like, some people are still going to question, like, you're still going to have Narc's perspective here. You're still going to have people that agree with Narc that, like, hey, what's going on here? Like I want to hear more. But it's the lesser of two evils from providing information. If you overpromise and underdeliver, that's way worse. That's going to generate way more negative publicity than just being a little bit quieter, saying, hey, it's going to come out sooner. It's going to come out sooner. Like, don't worry about it. And so, yeah, it might not be fully ready for them to showcase yet. And look, he's pulling up a September 1st of 2023 comment. So 6 months ago, a half year ago, he's pulling up a comment for this specific video. This is how some content creators, and it's a good thing, but this is how in-depth some content creators for Ashes patrol through different comments. They look for these specific details. You can't speak from the hip on these things, because you're going to get called out for it 6 months later in a video like this if you're wrong. And so that's why they don't do it anymore. So, Tilly, good to see you.
Have people that are, like, literally invested in these other games that are trying to shit on these games. That happens a lot.
What they've...
Yeah, look at the Day Before. Look at the Quinfall. Remember that one?
Ultimately,
I swear I have not watched this.
Today's
You
video
just brought up the same
is,
two things.
why do we know so little about the Alpha 2's launch? Are Intrepid that confident with the game that they're fine with audience just forgetting about it, expecting them to come flocking back when the Alpha 2 launches and it's in an incredible state? Now, don't get me wrong, Intrepid are obviously the most openly developed project out there right now, and it's not even close. But when
I think that Ghostcrawler and, like, his team are really open about the way that they're designing Project Ghost. I think that I don't know, like, it's hard for me to say, like,
how's the stream going, by the way, guys? It looks like I'm getting drop frames, like, randomly. Everything just dropped on my end. Sometimes Twitch does this to me, and I don't know why. Stand. It just started dropping. Yeah. I don't know why it does this. Like, it'll do this for a bit, and then everything kicks back up and everything's okay. I'm not sure what the deal is. Okay, I'm gonna give it a minute here. What's happening? put high. Yeah, I don't know why it does this from my perspective, but sometimes. No, I don't think anything's. I got the. Let me double check. We'll have this in the background. We'll just pull it up and see what my temperature is, but everything should be okay. Yeah, my CPU temperature is fine. I think this literally just happens on Twitch's end for me. Okay. Yeah, I'm jumping from 4,000 bits to 0. $3,900, $1,100. What is happening? The stream ended on YouTube. I'm up to 4,000 kilobits, back to 300, 1,400, 13, 3,000, 38. Are we gonna, unfuck ourselves here? Okay, I'm gonna give it another minute, and if it doesn't work, then I'll have to restart. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to give you a bunch of glitchy shit, so. Yeah, nothing's overheating. Everything's within normal amount. Voltage is fine. Clock speed is fine. Downloading the Do Near Female video again. How did you know? How did you know? Okay, guys, I'm gonna quick stop it. I'm gonna restart my PC and then I'm gonna come back and hopefully that restarts. It'll just take a minute. I'll be right back. Oh, wait. We just went to yellow. What's up?
I bought you Warrior beer.
Okay.
It's a fucking otter with an axe in his hand.
That's pretty sick.
And like a chin beard thing happening.
That's pretty sick. Okay. I'm going to stop the stream and I'm going to restart. I will be right back, guys. I don't